He pulled over a man for a broken taillight, then shot him 8 times in the back. The man was running away, unarmed, desperate to escape. Then the officer knelt down, dropped a taser next to the dying man, and lied to save himself. The cell phone video that exposed him went viral overnight, shaking a nation to its core. The badge that was meant to protect became a weapon to destroy. The protector became a predator. This is the chilling true story of Michael Slager, a police officer arrested at the scene of a fatal shooting. The first time in U.S. history that an officer faced handcuffs on the street after pulling the trigger. But the fight for justice was only just beginning, and the consequences would ripple far beyond that night. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories that expose corruption and fight for justice. Michael Slager was a seasoned officer in the North Charleston Police Department, South Carolina. For 33 years, he had patrolled the streets, climbing the ranks, building a reputation as a dedicated family man and trusted law enforcer. To many, he was a symbol of safety and order, a figure who represented the ideal of policing done right. Yet beneath that image, few knew what simmered beneath the surface, and how one moment would forever shatter that facade. On the night of April 4, 2015, Slager was conducting routine patrols when he noticed Walter Scott's vehicle, its broken taillight drawing his attention. Walter Scott was a 50-year-old father of 4, a man who had struggled with his past but was trying to build a better life. Driving home unaware of what awaited him, Scott had no reason to suspect that a simple traffic stop would turn deadly. When Slager pulled Scott over, the atmosphere quickly grew tense. Scott was cooperative, though nervous, fumbling to retrieve his license and registration. Officers later said that Scott was acting suspiciously, but witnesses would describe a man simply trying to comply with the law. What happened next remains a subject of debate, but a sudden decision changed everything. Walter Scott fled on foot. As Scott ran, hands raised, eyes pleading for mercy, Slager shouted commands, "Stop! Don't make me shoot!" But instead of halting, Scott kept running, hoping for safety. In a matter of seconds, Slager fired 8 shots, each bullet tearing through Scott's back. The echoes of gunfire filled the night air as Scott collapsed, blood staining the pavement beneath him. What made this incident unlike so many others was the presence of a witness armed with a cell phone camera. A passenger in Scott's car, shocked by the unfolding violence, recorded the entire sequence, raw, unfiltered, and undeniable. The video showed Scott running away, unarmed, while Slager fired into his back. Then, in a moment that would ignite fury across the country, Slager knelt beside the dying man and dropped a taser next to him. The very weapon Slager claimed Scott had stolen, forcing him to fire in self-defense. The footage spread like wildfire across social media and news networks. For the first time, millions saw a police shooting that seemed impossible to justify. The undeniable evidence contradicted the initial police reports and Slager's own story. Outrage erupted, protests ignited, and a nationwide reckoning on police violence and accountability was born. Signs flooded the streets. Justice for Walter Scott, no more killing, and end police brutality. Inside the North Charleston Police Department, the mood was heavy with tension and uncertainty. Many officers initially stood firmly behind Slager, defending their colleague and insisting the shooting was justified under the circumstances. But cracks began to appear. Whispers of a cover-up spread through the halls. Some officers questioned the official narrative, while others feared the consequences of speaking out. The department found itself caught between loyalty and the harsh glare of the truth. Meanwhile, Walter Scott's family was thrust into the spotlight, grieving publicly while demanding justice. They became the faces of a movement crying out against systemic injustice and racial bias in policing. Slager and his family, on the other hand, faced backlash, threats, and isolation. The line between law enforcer and lawbreaker blurred in the public eye. Among the officers, there were those like Jamie Torres, a young recruit watching the events unfold with growing disillusionment. She saw the department's attempts to silence whistleblowers, manipulate evidence, and control the narrative. Late nights brought threatening messages and shadowed figures, but Jamie was determined to stand for truth. With the help of Devon, an IT specialist, she uncovered digital files and communications that exposed attempts to shield Slager from accountability. Forensic investigations intensified. Experts confirmed that the taser found near Scott's body had been planted after the shooting. Ballistics matched the bullets to Slager's firearm beyond doubt. Witnesses stepped forward, revealing a department culture resistant to change and accountability. The cell phone video, once dismissed by some, became irrefutable proof of misconduct. The trial gripped the nation. Prosecutors painted a devastating portrait of abuse of power. A veteran officer who took a man's life in cold blood and tried to cover it up. The defense argued that Slager had feared for his life and reacted under pressure. But the mountain of evidence was overwhelming. The cell phone footage was played repeatedly in court. Experts dissected every frame. Witnesses described the internal cover-up. The truth was laid bare. Under the weight of evidence and public scrutiny, Slager ultimately pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter in 2017. He accepted a 20-year prison sentence, a rare moment of justice in a system often criticized for letting officers escape consequences. North Charleston moved quickly to enact reforms. Mandatory body cameras were introduced. Policies on use of force were overhauled. Civilian oversight committees were formed. Yet, the wounds ran deep. The shooting exposed a fractured relationship between law enforcement and the community it served, a fracture that runs through many cities across the country. For years, mistrust had built up, fueled by countless stories of brutality and impunity. Walter Scott's death became a symbol of that broken trust, showing how quickly a badge could turn from protector to threat. The demand for reform wasn't just about policies, but about restoring faith in a system that had long seemed tilted against minority communities. Walter Scott's family, despite their grief, channeled their pain into activism. They became voices in a chorus calling for change, advocating for transparency, accountability, and justice beyond their own tragedy. Their story reminded the nation that behind every statistic lies a human being with hopes, dreams, and a family left behind. Their courage in the face of loss inspired many others to speak out and demand better treatment from those sworn to protect. Michael Slager's fall from grace was a powerful cautionary tale. A man who had worn the uniform for decades was now serving time for a crime that shattered his community. His case prompted departments nationwide to reevaluate training and policies, emphasizing de-escalation and better mental health support for officers. But it also underscored a harder truth. No amount of training could fix the attitudes and systems that allowed such abuse to occur unchecked. The national conversation shifted after the case, pushing the role of citizen-recorded videos into the spotlight. Before Walter Scott's shooting, police accounts often went unchallenged. But as smartphones became ubiquitous, raw footage began holding officers accountable in ways once unimaginable. This shift empowered communities, but also intensified debates about privacy, policing, and justice. The case marked a turning point, showing that sometimes the most powerful witness is the one holding a phone. Despite reforms and Slager's conviction, the legacy of Walter Scott's death is complicated. Many still feel the wounds of mistrust and fear, while activists warn the battle is far from over. The case opened eyes, but did not erase systemic problems overnight. It remains a painful reminder that justice is not just about verdicts or sentences. It is about real, lasting change in how communities and law enforcement interact. Walter Scott's story continues to fuel the fight for that change. If you have any suggestions or want to share your thoughts, comment below. Your voice matters. Power can corrupt, even those who take an oath to protect and serve. Michael Slager's story is a harsh reminder that accountability is essential if justice is to prevail. The badge, meant to symbolize service and safety, became a tool for destruction. This case revealed the urgent need for change, a change that many continue to fight for every day. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that uncover the truth and fight corruption. Together, we can shine a light on injustice. Thanks for watching. Remember, silence allows injustice to thrive, but together we can demand a better future.